Hello, welcome to the video notes for lesson 6-5. This lesson begins on page 26 of your notes packet from your binder. And the title is Solving Systems of Linear Equations Using Substitution, Day 2. So the last lesson we did substitution, but it was a little different than what we're going to do today. Still going to be 5 steps, but you'll see what the variation or what the change is with this one. Alright, so our learning target, I can solve systems of equations using substitution. When one equation is in slope-intercept form and the other is in standard form. Alright, so below we have an example, slope-intercept form we've come to know really well, y equals mx plus b. But standard form is a little different. Ax plus by equals c. And where a, b, and c are real numbers, preferably integers, and a and b are not both 0. That's very important. Okay, so let me give you an example of what this might look like. So we might have an equation in slope-intercept form that looks like y equals 2x plus 4. And then we might have one in standard form that might be 2x plus 3y equals 10. So you'll notice there's a number in front of x, that would be the a, number in front of y, that would be the b, and then a number on the other side of the equal sign. Now, with the other substitution, when they were both in y equals form, then we could just put the two equations equal to each other. But because they're in a different form, we have to use a different kind of substitution. Okay? So, we have an example below. When one equation is in slope-intercept form and the other is in standard form, we have a way that we are going to be solving these. Also, make sure that you highlight or circle when it's in standard form, we'd like these to be integers. And later on, we'll go through a process of where we turn them into integers if they're not. Okay? Alright, so let's take a look at this example together. So, there's again going to be 5 steps. Step 1 is going to be substitute one expression into the other. Into the other. Now some of you might be saying, into? What do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to show you. So you'll look at these, and again, before we would have something, we'd have y equals x plus 4, and another one that might be y equals 2x plus 3. They were both y equals, so it was easy to set them equal to each other because they were essentially the same thing. This is a little different. Now we're going to take the equation that says y equals, and we're going to take this part here, and we're going to replace y with it. So, what does that look like? Actually, before I get this, it looks like this. So I'm no longer going to use this equation on top. I'm going to use the one below. I still have x plus. And then instead of 2y, I have 2. Then in parentheses, I'm going to put x plus 4 equals -7. Now, up here, I want you to put a little star. And I want you to write use parentheses. I hope I spelled that right. If there is a coefficient. And there's always a coefficient. I should say greater than 1. greater than 1. Now, if you look, we're putting x plus 4 and we're substituting it for y. Why can we do that? Because y is equal to this. This is what y is, x plus 4. There's a number in front of the y that's greater than 1. It's 2, so we use parentheses. If there is no number in front of y, then we don't need parentheses. Alright, so step 2, I'm sure you already guessed it, is to solve. So the first step in solving this is you could do the distributive property. So I get x plus 2x plus 8 equals negative 7. Draw a line down, do your steps for solving. Combine like terms, x plus 2x is 3x plus 8 equals negative 7. Now, I'm going to do a step that some of you may not like, but it makes the most sense here. Subtract 8 from both sides. 3x equals negative 15. Divide both sides by 3. And you get x is equal to negative 5. Alright, so we found one of the variables, x. Now, step 3, we're going to find y. How are we going to do that? Well, let's use one equation. Let's use the top one. We're going to do ESS. Y equals x plus 4. I know what x is. It's negative 5. So y equals negative 5 plus 4. What is negative 5 plus 4? Y is equal to negative 1. Alright, so basically I have my solution now, negative 5, negative 1. But we of course have to check it. And we check it using the other equation. The other equation is, and we're going to do ESS again, we have x plus 2y equals negative 7. Now I substitute negative 5 in for x, negative 1 in for y equals negative 7. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So I have negative 5 plus negative 2 equals negative 7. And negative 5 plus negative 2 is negative 7. So negative 7 equals negative 7. And it checks. And then, of course, step 5 is declare what your solution is. And we're going to write it as a point. So our x value is negative 5. Our y value is negative 1. Alright, seems kind of tricky. It's not really that bad. Okay, why don't we go ahead and take a look at page 27. On page 27, we have 2 more examples. We'll work through this one. I'll leave the second one for you to try on your own. Alright, this time I'm going to explain the steps and write them down as we do it, but not write out what they are. So step 1 is to substitute. So I have one equation, y equals x plus 2, and the other one is in a different form. So I can take this and replace y with it. Now, the coefficient for y, there's no number in front of it. So this one's a little easier. I do not need parentheses. So I get 3x equals, instead of y, I'm going to write x plus 2, and then minus 8. If I had a number in front of y, I put this x plus 2 in parentheses, and I'd have to do the distributive property first. Step 2, solve. So, train tracks, let's go ahead and combine like terms. So I get 3x equals x, and then 2 minus 8 is negative 6, so you can do plus negative 6 or just minus 6. I'll subtract x from both sides, and I get 2x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by 2, and you get x is equal to negative 3. Alright, I've got one of my answers. Now I need the other one. So, step 3, we're going to find y. So, we'll use ESS. And we're going to do It doesn't matter which equation you use. I always go with the simpler one, the y equals mx plus b, or y equals x plus 2. We know x is equal to negative 3, so I'm going to do negative 3 plus 2. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, so y equals negative 1. Alright, so I have x and y. Now I need to check. So I'm going to use the other equation, ESS again. And E is going to be 3x equals y minus 8 this time. Substitute negative 3 in for x, so 3 times negative 3. Substitute negative 1 in for y. So, negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. And negative 9 equals negative 9, so it checks. So, step 5, our solution is x is negative 3, y is negative 1. Just a little advice, if when you do the check, things don't work out, what you can do is you got to go back to the beginning and check and make sure your x value is the correct one. Because chances are, when you substitute this number in over here in step 3, you probably did everything okay here. Now, there's a chance you made a mistake here too, but I would start first by double checking that your x value is okay. Alright, time for you to earn some points on your scoreboard. We have one more example at the bottom. There are 5 steps. Step 1 is you're going to write a new equation. I'm actually not going to help you with this. I will tell you that this is going to get substituted in for y, and that's going to be your new equation. There's no coefficient, so it doesn't need to be in parentheses. Step 2, you're going to solve. Step 3, you're going to find y, and you'll do that by using ESS. Step 4 is the check. Again, you're going to use ESS. And then step 5 is, what is the solution? Now, when you are done, you should have an answer that looks like a point. I will give you a point on your scoreboard for everybody in your class that gets it right, and anybody that doesn't get it right but tries it, I'll probably count up all those people and give you half as many points as there are people. Alright, so chance to earn lots of points if you are listening right now and do what I ask. Alright, if you had any trouble, go back and watch the video again, or come and see me. Good luck, and we'll see you in math.